Hello there and welcome back to yet another video. In a previous video we covered all of the dungeon mounts you can collect, so it is only fair we do it for all the raid mounts. Now we will cover only mounts that drop from either trash mobs or bosses inside of these raids. Starting off we have Classic, 1 raid, 4 mounts, and it will lead you to Qiraji and Zereth. In the temple you will be collecting the blue, green, yellow and the red Qiraji crystals, which drop from trash mobs, red being the rarest one. Why? Because it's red. Yep, it has its own achievement. You can skip all the bosses if you want to until you have all 4. Did I mention you will be hoarding things you will never use? Well, with these 4 mounts I actually do mean it. These 4 mounts are only usable in Qiraji itself. So as a noble horde representative once said,
"Nothing good has ever come out of Zereth."
Now, if you want something cooler that you can actually use in the outside world, let's head for TBC. 2 raids, 2 mounts. First one comes from Karazhan in Deadwind Pass. There are 2 entrances. The one on the side is for the 5-man Legion dungeon, which holds 2 mounts, which I did a video on and you can check it out on my channel. The raid entrance is on the ground floor. Enter and head towards the stables towards the left. There you will find Attunement the Huntsman and a chance to get the Fiery Warhorse Reins, or Midnight for short. The second mount is the Ashes of Alar. Comes from Kael'thas inside of Tempest Keep in Netherstorm. You want to skip absolutely everything inside and just kill Kael'thas. If you feel like Kael is bugged, don't worry, he just takes a long time to engage in combat or just res his allies. Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath will offer you the most mounts out of any expansion with a total of 8 raid mounts coming in from 6 raids. First up we have Malylos's Eye of Eternity in Borean Tundra with the Azure and the Blue Drakes. Go through the free phase encounter for a chance for one of them to drop, or both if you're that lucky. Heading east, we have Vault of Archivon in Wintergrasp and the Grand War Black Mammoth. Now to be able to enter the instance, your faction needs to have control over the fortress. Once inside, kill all of the bosses because all of the bosses can actually drop this mount. Heading even further east, we go inside Obsidian Sanctum underneath Wyrmrest Temple in Dragonblight. Sartarian can drop you the Black and Twilight Drakes depending on which difficulty you do. These are 100% drop chance mounts if you do this on hard mode. All you have to do is not kill the Drakes on the side ledges and go straight for Sartarian. Get an out and you can get both of these Drakes in 1 week, since they do actually share a lockout. Further up north we have Ulduar. You can skip a handful of bosses inside. The ones that you need to defeat will be the 4 Watchers, Hodir, Thorim, Freya and Mimiron, for the door to open towards Yogg-Saron. Don't speak to them after to activate hard mode and head towards Yogg-Saron. Once there, kill Sarah with one of the mobs that spawn. Yogg will appear and he will summon some portals. Once you enter the portal, you will arrive in one of 3 different scenarios. Concept remains the same. Kill everything you see inside, then enter the brain room, kill the brain, go outside and the fight is done, and you might actually get the Mimiron's head mount. Onyxia's Lair in Duswall Marsh will offer you the Onyxian Drake. Quick and easy, just kill the boss for a chance for it to drop. Back on Northrend, the pinnacle of mount hunting in Icecrown, you will find Icecrown Citadel. This is where heroic difficulty for mount hunting begins, so you need to check if you have set it correctly, since Invincible only drops on 25-man heroic. Kill every boss inside if you haven't saved a lockout and reach Lich King. Finish him off and the mount might just drop. Returning to the old continents of Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor, we have Cataclysm, for a total of 3 raids, 6 mounts. First up we have Throne of the Four Winds in Odum and the Drake of the South Wind. Drops from Alakir, quickly kill him on any difficulty for a go at this mount. Up north, Mount Hyjal is the host to the Firelands raid. Reach Alysrazor for the Flame Talon of Alysrazor and then head on towards Ragnaros for the Pureblood Firehawk, which, well, looks exactly like Alysrazor. Going back south in the Caverns of Time, you will find the entrance for Dragon's Soul. Setting the difficulty to Heroic, you want to progress all the way to Ultraxion, who drops Experiment 12B. Everything is pretty straightforward until you reach Spine of Deathwing, because this encounter can still kill you. Deathwing will roll on one of his sides, kicking you off to your death. To avoid this, move from side to side constantly while killing 8 corrupted bloods near the Amalgamation ad. Once you see it turn, bring it to the back of the back plate, kill it, and kill what is underneath. You need to do this 3 times in total in order to progress. And lastly, you have Madness of Deathwing, which is easy compared to the Spine of Deathwing. Deathwing himself can drop you the Blazing Drake on any difficulty and the Lifebinder's Handmaiden only on Heroic. Heading to the Misty Mountains of Pandaria, we have a total of 3 raids for mounts. First one comes from Mogushan Vaults in Kunrai Summit. The raid is pretty linear, meaning you have to kill all the prior bosses and trash mobs to reach Elegon, who might drop you the Astral Cloud Serpent. Heading west, on the Isle of Thunder, you have the Throne of Thunder, and inside 2 mounts. The Spawn of Horridon drops from Horridon, and Clutch of Ji Kun from, you guessed it, Ji Kun. Lastly, we have Siege of Orgrimmar. The entrance is in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. From this point on, many mounts are only obtainable on Mythic difficulty, the Kor'kron Juggernaut included. If you have never done this before, you have to kill every boss in this raid. If you have done this at least once, you can use the scroll on the right side as you enter and it will transport you directly to Garrosh. Fair warning, it might see you when you do that. If it does happen, just log back in and you will be at Garrosh ready to kill him for a chance at the mount. Next up we have Warlords of Draenor, with 2 raids and 2 mounts. With Warlords of Draenor, we have been introduced to skips, a simple quest at the start of the instance that requires you to do a certain thing. Usually it's to kill one specific boss 4 times, and then you will be able to skip to that boss every time you try to farm mounts. The only exclusion to the quest being at the start of the instance will be Blackrock Foundry. Located in Golgrun, it requires you to find this NPC hidden behind these boxes near the Iron Maiden's encounter. Once you have killed all the bosses on Mythic or skipped, you will be able to farm the Ironhoof Destroyer mount from Blackhand. The Felsteel Annihilator is inside Hellfire Citadel. This instance has 2 skips, one to the Upper Citadel, the other straight to Manaroth. Whatever way you do it, the goal is the same. You need to reach Archimonde and kill him on Mythic difficulty for the chance on the mount. As for Legion, it is the host to 3 raids and 5 mounts. Firstly, we have 2 Mercer Garrus located on the Broken Shore. Head inside and reach Mistress Sazine for a chance at the Abyssware mount. As for Nighthold, the entrance is in Suramar, and it is a bit tricky to get into if you have never done it before. Just follow the route I'm taking and you will reach the Sanctum Depths where the entrance is located. Inside, you can get 2 mounts from Gul'dan. Felblaze Infernal drops on any difficulty, while the Hellfire Infernal only drops on Mythic. Going to Antaurus the Burning Throne, the entrance is in the Antoran Wastes. Again, like Hellfire Citadel, this raid has 2 skips. The first mount doesn't require any since it drops on the second boss, and it is the Antoran Charhound. The second one is the Shackled Ur'zul, and it drops from August the Unmaker only on Mythic difficulty. This is the point where stuff gets a little bit tricky. Some bosses are just not doable since of their vast mechanics. Some classes can do them, some can't, some are just not doable at all by anyone. So for BFA and Shadowlands, the easiest way to farm any mounts in any raids is just by getting a group. There are always people making groups for transmogs achievements and mounts in the Raid Legacy tab. So for BFA in particular, we have 3 mounts coming in from 2 raids. The first 2 come from Battle of Dazalor. Now this raid is one of the very few that doesn't support cross-faction, so when looking for a group, make sure it is for the one that you're playing at the moment. The entrances are in Borealis and near Zocalo in Zuldazar. G.M.O.D drops on all difficulties, only there is a slight catch. For normal, heroic and mythic, it drops from High Tinker Mechatorg. As for the LFR version, it drops off Lady Jaina Proudmoore. Jaina Proudmoore drops you another mount, and it is the Glacial Tidestorm, which is only on mythic difficulty. The last one is the Ny'alotha Allseer, dropping from N'Zoth himself on mythic difficulty. Now, Ny'alotha has 2 entrances depending on which zone is under siege. It's either gonna be Odom or Valley of the Four Winds. Also for this one you will need the legendary cloak, just so N'Zoth doesn't mind control you and then your group needs to kill you, if they even invited you without having one. Any rank will do as long as you have it. Same thing goes for Shadowlands, it will offer you 3 mounts from 2 raids. Sanctum of Domination, located in the Maw, can drop you the Sanctum Gloomcharger from the 9 encounter, and you can farm this one on any difficulty, even on RDF, by queuing up in Oribos with this NPC near Bolvar. The higher the difficulty, the tougher it's gonna be, but you can probably solo it up until Heroic. As for the second mount, it is Vengeance and it drops from Sylvanas, only on Mythic difficulty. The third and final mount comes in from the Sepulchre of the First Ones in Zereth Mortis. Similar to N'Zoth, the Jailer also has a mind control ability. So when the time is right, hide behind one of the pillars so your group doesn't have to kill you and just burst the boss down. He will give you a chance to get the Zereth Overseer mount on Mythic only. With the introduction of Dragonriding, we have received a lot of cosmetics for our Dragonriding mounts, some of which that drop from inside of the raids. So for Dragonflight, we will have 3 cosmetics, 2 mounts coming in from 4 raids. Brazgeth in the World of Incarnates can give you the Storm Eater transformation for your renewed Proto-Drake. Sakhareth from Aberus can drop you the Elementium transformation for your Highland Drake, which looks exactly like Kazara, the first boss of the instance. And lastly, we have the Blazing transformation dropping from Firak inside of Amirdrasil for your renewed Proto-Drake. Also, if you are able to do Firak on Mythic, you might get a chance to get Anurelos, the Flames Guidance mount. One honorable mention will be Valiance, coming in from Old Naxxramas. Since 10.1.5, you can open up Old Naxxramas and Old Scholomance by doing a variety of secrets and quests. Once you have opened up Old Nax and the NPC inside, you can trade him Scourge Stones for Death's Bargaining Chips, which you then use to buy Rotten Delicious. Setting the instance on 10-man, you want to venture into the military quarter and feed Valiance the Rotten Delicious. Head towards Resuvius and control one of the ads with the crystal. Take the ads to the mount and then back to the boss and kill them all at the same time, and the mount is yours. And those are all the expansions, all the raid mounts that drop from these said raids. What is your most sought out after mount? Let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.